My name is Beatriz Benavides. I am one of the specialists of the World Institute for Incurable Diseases, and I have the fortune to have Moni being part of my mentors and healers, and also being able to heal through the years in many heal plans with her. So I was in one of her talks about the menopause and perimenopause in April this year, and it really helped me a lot to understand those dynamics. First, I didn't knew I was already in perimenopause, so I started to have awareness of that. But this talk is priceless. What we are all going to share and learn in this talk is mind-blowing in the sense that we're going to get a lot of new information, not only what you can get in AI, in ChatGPT, or in videos, but information that is not out there, but we all need so we can have a very fulfilling life during this time of our lives. So I do want to introduce to you the one and only Moni Platt. Moni Platt is an energy medicine expert and medical intuitive. She has been personally mentored by Master Del P, and with the ability to X-ray the body, the organs, the health conditions, she uses her psychic power, techniques, and the third eye spiritual technology. As a certified senior specialist of life-threatening diseases and non-medical responder for lifestyle diseases and new emerging conditions such as psychosomatic syndrome and the dark night of the soul, she is especially passionate about helping women suffering from menopausal conditions around the world. She helps them to regain their lives and find fulfillment and enlightenment as their next steps in life. She's the head of the World Institute for Incurable Diseases, where she works to reinvent healthcare for a new humanity. Together with Master Del P and our international team of world expert healers, she offers more than 58 healing specializations, including cancer and women's issues. She has helped people from all backgrounds of life overcome addictions, mental, emotional health issues, ADD and learning disorders, cardiovascular diseases, and more. I want to say much more, but I'm just going to finish with the next two lines. Her greatest achievement is delivering unbelievable and miraculous results for people suffering from incurable diseases, healing all 5 levels of health, and bringing balance to the 5 key areas of life. Having lived on 4 continents and served individuals ranging from the destitute to billionaires, she is the one of the most sought after healers and medical intuitives in the world. So welcome, Moni, to this talk.
Hello, everyone. I am Moni Platt, and it is such a great pleasure to be here with all of you today. And Beatriz, thank you so much for the opportunity to share our wisdom, our tools, our techniques of the World Institute for Incurable Diseases and Energy Medicine to the world in the context of menopausal issues, which is our main focus today out of all these many healing specializations that we do offer. And it is a great honor to be here with all of you, and I hope I can bring great value, more meaning, and also help through this talk today to you, and hopefully you will share it out to the world if you take away benefits. And I will also share some tools, some techniques that you can take home with you today that would allow you to balance your life, increase your energy, or balance your emotions, clear your mind, and even find your spiritual connection. The menopause and menopausal issues, I think I'm very happy to understand and learn that at this current time, there has been put more emphasis to help women during this very crucial and sometimes very difficult time of their lives. And for those of you who have joined today, who are already in the perimenopause, menopause, or postmenopause periods, you will definitely know and understand the difficulties that one faces during the menopausal time, and that it is not always that easy to really find proper help. And at least at this time, we do find more recognition with respect of the medical profession to have gone deeper into the different aspects of menopause. And also, I think some parts of the medical professions are now offering better help. However, I find that the help that is out there is still based on more symptomatic approaches and maybe taking away the symptoms, but not really getting into the core of the issue and not really addressing the root causes. And moreover, there are deeper and broader and wider aspects of health that is not only the physical aspect. In our healing system, we do not only look onto the physical body, we also make sure that we would increase vitality. Very often in menopause, women find that their vitality levels really drop. And one of the issues that I have come across when I help women heal menopausal issues is that it is really, really difficult to maintain vitality and stamina, even just throughout the day. So I find very often that women really need to go and take breaks. They need to go and rest more. And then at the same time, despite having fatigue, stamina is low, they have sleep issues on top of it. And so the deep regenerative sleep, the REM sleep, as they call it, does not come easy. And so there is then a catch-22 situation and a cycle of down spiraling of energy loss because you're tired in the day, you're tired in the night, you cannot sleep, and the more tired you get, the less you sleep. And the reason for that is that we have found out in energy medicine that in order to sleep, you do need to have a certain amount of energy. So when you have a certain depletion, then it is very easy to exit out of body. And there are tools and techniques that one can learn to increase that stamina, to increase the vitality by simple breathing techniques or physical exercises. And I will share some of that with you later. Coming back to the menopausal issues, now I would say that one of the important things is to understand that whatever symptoms you experience, to really honor yourself for that and to understand that symptoms that commonly are known, for example, what I already mentioned, sleep issues, tiredness, fatigue, brain fog, weight gain is one of the big side effects also in menopause. And then also the hot flushes, the emotional ups and downs, certain body aches and body pains. There are so many issues. They have identified well over 400 symptoms that women can experience during menopause. It's incredible, isn't it? And one of the important things is that during that time, that one honors oneself for these changes that are happening in the body and to allow the process to happen and not to resist it, but to also understand that there is a lot of help out there in natural means and with healing that will allow the management of these symptoms until the body balances itself out again. So what is menopause really? What happens when menopause sets in? Now, medically, it is recognized that during menopause, the ovaries become non-productive, so they do not produce any eggs anymore. And the estrogen and progesterone hormones, the sex hormones that are responsible for the production of the eggs and the activity of the ovaries, cease to exist. They diminish, they go away. And because of the drop of the estrogen and progesterone, the body now has to adjust and find new means and ways to balance many other systems in the body that are connected to the reproductive cycle. And it is not only that the estrogen and progesterone drop in the reproductive system, but as you might know, the whole endocrine system is really connected to the reproductive cycle. Now it has come to light that estrogen is one of the highest anti-inflammatory agent that allows the body to regulate inflammation. So there is an indirect connectivity between that hormone and your immune system response, for example. There is also research that has now come to light that when estrogen levels drop, your vagus nerve, which is the biggest nerve in the body, the tone of the vagus nerve diminishes. And because, excuse me, and because the vagus nerve is really connected to all body systems, it unnerves all different parts of the body. And one of the biggest part it is connected with is the brain-gut connection. So you would also find that very often people that are in menopause or women that are in menopause would experience digestive issues. For those of you who are in menopausal time, you would maybe experience a lot of bloating, and then you have constipation, and then you have diarrhea, and then you have bloating again. So there's a lot of ups and downs, and it is very difficult to regulate these digestive issues by diet alone. And if diet alone would be I would say, the key factor, for example, to re-regulate your digestive system, then all those women who already eat a very healthy diet should theoretically not develop any digestive issues during menopause, right? But a lot of them still do. And the women that I have helped with in our healings, without fail, each one of them have noticed that these digestive issues come about. And part of that, or part of the reason why these digestive issues come about, is the vagus nerve that gets out of balance. There is another aspect that has come to light in the newest research, that even the brain stem has got a role to play with respect of the physical changes that are happening. And then also the hypothalamus in the center of the brain that has a supportive role in creating all these imbalances. So the endocrine system and the nervous system are the most predominant ones that are affected during menopause. Now, of course, the reproductive system itself, where the estrogen and progesterone hormones are being produced, is directly affected. And for many women, they would also experience imbalances in their monthly period. So this is usually where women would start noticing that something is changing. At the beginning, when perimenopause sets in, it is not always clear whether menopause has now started or not. In this day and age, if you really would want to find out, you can do a medical test where they can test the amount, the volume of the estrogen and progesterone production in the body. But very often the first symptoms that women notice is really that the period starts changing. Now, depending also how healthy one is, whether one has already comorbidities before menopause starts, there are symptoms that are potentially stronger and higher in women, for example, that have already hormonal issues before menopause starts in. So women that have, for example, thyroid issues, hyper or hypothyroidism or Hashimoto disease, or that have polycystic ovaries or endometriosis. So a lot of women would already have women's issues before even menopause sets in. So if there are certain comorbidities, then the menopausal issues become exponentially stronger in my experience when I'm healing women. Another one that is really a high contributing factor is women that have already weight issues before menopause sets in, and women that suffer from diabetes. Cardiovascular disease is another one that is a contributing factor that can enhance the negative side effects during menopause. So for those of you that are listening today that are still on the younger side of age, so if you are, say, in your mid-30s, up to your mid-30s, and you suffer from any of these comorbidities or other diseases, it is vitally important that you would start ahead of time to implement preventive measures and correct the health issues that are present at this moment, in your present moment, so that when you would reach menopausal age, you will diminish your side effects. So there are a lot of preventive measures that you can get into, that you can do, that would help you to ease into the menopausal time without too many side effects coming up. Now, medically spoken, the main time identified where women enter menopause is 45 to 55. This is very general. This is the data that they have taken for women that do not have any other issues. And for the majority of women, 45 to 55 is the time where menopause sets in. So that's quite a long time span. That's 10 years variety, right? And for some women, menopause can set in already in their 30s. And I also have known women that go into menopause only in their 60s. So the menopausal spectrum is incredible. And the reason why women sometimes go early into menopause can be not only physical, but can sometimes also be emotional, mental, or also through inheritance from the women's lineage. If there are certain genetic conditions, then that would already have been there with the mother or the grandmother of that particular woman, then menopause has got, like as many other diseases, a genetic reason as well. In this day and age, I think we also need to take into consideration that with respect of our current lifestyles that we are exposed to, that has a lot of high pollution through hormone altering pollutants like plastics that have been identified to alter hormonal levels in humans. That's not only for women, that also goes for men. But it has been shown that these pollutants, that plastics and microplastics enter even into our brain, into the smallest parts of our body, can have contributing factors for women entering menopause earlier. It has also been shown that girls enter puberty earlier in this day and age. So we have many environmental contributing factors as well that causes a lot of imbalances and unusual occurrences as to why women would enter menopause and also earlier than expected. So the variety of these things are a lot. And my advice is that with respect of menopause issues that as a woman, you really need to individualize yourself and look at yourself for your own needs and uniqueness and what type of menopausal issues are really manifesting in your system. So when we look in a more holistic and from the energy medicine point of view, we need to understand that health is not only on the physical level. We have 5 levels of health. We have the physical body, we have the energy field around us, which we usually in our world call the aura or the biovitality field. And at the first level, the vitality aura, then we have the emotional aura, the mental aura, and we also have a spiritual connection. So there are 5 levels of health that we need to look at in order to really create a health aspect that brings health in every aspect of your life. And this is one of the differences, and I would say key factors that I bring to you today to understand that if you want to prepare yourself well to go into menopause with as minimum side effects as possible, you need to consider 5 levels of health. And for those of you who are already in menopause, again, we have tools and techniques that will help to rebalance your whole system in the physical, vitality, emotional, mental, and spiritual health bracket that would allow you to recreate your inner well-being, your inner alignment, and also the sense of continued purpose in life. I find that many women, when they go through menopause and these menopausal changes happen, that also the physical appearance, as for those of you who are menopause, the aging process, the skin that starts sagging, the muscle mass that goes down, the strength of the body that diminishes. So when all these changes are starting coming in, especially in the beginning, for many women that is very worrisome. And also libido goes down, the sexual drive goes down. And one starts realizing that life is really an aging process, and that once menopause sets in and the body changes, there is not really much you can do about the external appearance. So what we need to learn is also to go internal and discover our innermost self and our higher consciousness and our spiritual self. And to also understand that with menopause and after menopause, that there is a life that we can create that has a greater meaning, a greater purpose, and that we need to stay useful maybe in different ways than during those reproductive years where the body just prepares us to make sure that our species continues and that we have a good, strong, healthy body to be able to produce life, right? That is why we have the reproductive system. So the diminishing of the body functions, the aches and pains that come, we can help and reverse the aging processes and the side effects of menopause by healing, by breathing techniques, by physical exercises, by meditation. And of course, it's also important that we understand the basics to understand where the sources of energy come from and how we absorb and assimilate sources of energy into our system that would allow the rebalancing of our body, of our strength and our vitality and stamina. So one of the basics, of course, is that we have to take care of the physical body with exercises. Physical exercises are very, very important, especially in menopause and after menopause. And not just any exercise. I've come to know and I've learned, and through my own experience, I am a postmenopausal woman. So I have gone through menopause, and I'm very happy and very proud to say that my menopausal issues have been very small, very minimal. I do experience it, of course, but I have never had any inhibiting or debilitating situation because I have the right tools to look after myself. And I have also, of course, applied preventive methods. So by the time I reach menopause, I have a very healthy, strong, high vitality body at that time. So you can do the same. If you are premenopause, prepare yourself well. There is a lot of preventive measures. If you're in menopause or postmenopause, then you can reverse a lot of the symptoms that come out. Physical exercise is important in the sense that we need to continue exercising to build muscle mass. The reason why many women develop weight gain during menopause is that the hormones change and collagen drops, and the fatty tissue in the body increases. So there's a change in energy and metabolic health that causes, as I'd mentioned already, insulin resistance, higher insulin resistance, and slowing down of the metabolism. And because of the slowing down of the metabolism, there is more weight gain. And it's not just all and everything, it is a particular form of fatty tissue that is affected because the hormones are very specific, which is estrogen and progesterone. So for most women, you would find that their weight gain is in the midsection. For some women, their weight gain is on the hips and on the butt. For some women, it's all of them. So it really depends. It's not the same for everyone. It also depends that on your age and what body type you have. Did you know that there are 7 different body types that we have? Did you know that there are actually 8 different personality types? And according to those different personality types and body types, menopausal issues will also manifest in a different way. So when you look back, when you compare what medicine knows and what medicine gives us with respect of all this myriad of symptoms and side effects of menopause, and then when you look and talk to an individual woman, you will find that some women have certain symptoms, but other women don't. Then you need to look into the different types of human beings and the different body types to really understand why someone has particular symptoms and other one has other symptoms. And when you start understanding that, you can create and orchestrate a very personalized plan, heal plan, physical exercise, eating plan, emotional balance plan, mental clearing plan, focus plan, and I would say also a spiritual alignment plan that would allow you to really, really reap the benefits if you do the right things. So for example, if you are a person that is very caring, very loving, Mother Teresa type, that is true mother type that always cares about everyone. It gives everything to everyone. It loves the children and everyone. People that are in the love dungeon of life, those people usually have also a heavier body. They do not tend to be very muscular to begin with. So if you then reach menopause, you will find that you do more weight gain, and that the muscle mass, when it diminishes, is even less, of course. And this body type and this personality type tends to have more inflammation, more insulin resistance than, in comparison, someone who is by nature already more toned. These are the willpower people that live more on willpower substance, the leaders in this world, the ones that are very strong, that are exactly the opposite, that do not give love, but they give power. They are the pioneers in the world and the leaders in the world. They are the ones that are always super high in energy, and they're very, very fast. They talk fast. They do things fast. They are impatient. So those type of people and that body type naturally already has a tone. They don't even have to exercise. They have to think of muscle and the muscle comes. Well, how unfair is that? If you're like that versus somebody who's been given a body that is a little bit on the softer side to begin with. But such is the creation. So we are not all the same, and it's so important for you to understand that. And when you look at yourself and you evaluate yourself throughout your life, what body type or personality type you are, and allow yourself to accept yourself for that, and then you can create a plan of results that is achievable and doable. If you have a body type that is a type 2, we call it in our system, a Mother Teresa type, and you wish to look like a super athlete, this is an unrealistic goal that is very difficult to achieve for a body type like that. So we cannot always compare ourselves to the things that propaganda also brings us, especially nowadays in social media. Very recently, I have noticed that there is a very particular ad that comes up a lot, which is called, I think, Asian Pilates, and the other one is something like military Pilates. So they put a lot of ads for women in menopause and above menopause and above 60. And these women, they have like a steel body. They have super muscle, super this. And they give that impression that everyone can do that and reach that goal. I think these things we have to be careful not to get trapped into. For some, surely these things are achievable, but not for everyone. So we always have to check and balance ourselves and have a balanced perception and a balanced approach in life. Life is about balance at the end of the day. If we go too extreme to one side or too extreme to the other side, we will not feel good about ourselves. So also building a inner alignment to your soul, an alignment and understanding of who you truly are, from the physical body to your emotional setup, to your mental setup, and to your spiritual alignment will help you the most to create your greatest life, your greatest health, even that you are in menopause. Now, coming back to the basics as to what are the sources of energy on the physical level, and to feed the body well, physical exercises, muscle building exercises, and exercises that increase metabolism are very important. So very often people do a lot of cardiovascular exercises. They exercise a lot, like they do a lot of jogging, running, these type of exercises, and they would find that there's not much change in weight gain. Now, in the newest research, it has really been found that particular exercises like this high intensity exercise, where you do a lot of intensity in a short period of time, you bring your heartbeat up to a very high rate, then you rest, and then you repeat that a couple of times. There's even something that I've come across that is called the Norwegian 4x4. That's the new thing around the blogs. You can look it up online, the Norwegian 4x4, so that you understand what type of exercises I'm talking about. Now, me personally, I'm not an expert in exercising. I'm not an expert in nutrition, but I can give you some hints so that you can also research in your own way for these type of exercises. But one thing I know for sure, that exercise will make a big difference to create a strong, healthy body. The second is nutrition. Nutrition is very important to eat the right balance of food. A more vegetarian-based food or nutritional source, I think, is better for our body because it is less inflammatory. And then the very basic guidelines that we understand at this time is to eliminate high sugar and high processed foods from our diet. That is very highly recommended. A lot of the processed foods, even milk products like cheese and milk and these kind of things, are very contaminated through pesticides and especially also hormones. So this is one of the things that many do not really know yet, is that in the food industry in this day and age, hormones are being used to increase meat production, milk production in animals, but also they are using hormones to increase the ripening processes in fruits. They are even using hormones to do certain things for vegetables. So hormones in this day and age are being used almost everywhere to just serve the profits of the agricultural industry. So in whatever region, wherever you are, my suggestion is that you really need to be intelligent and discern your food sources to come from the most organic resources that you can find. And that is not always easy. I understand that. If you do not have the choice, the first choice is that you can eliminate meats, pork meat, the red meats and milk products that are from the supermarket, because they are for sure laced with hormones. And you cannot eliminate that. You cannot wash it off. It does not deteriorate. It stays in the product. So it's been given, injected into the animal, and you eat it, it will go into your body. So these endocrine disruptors, you will get and ingest, and it will cause imbalance in your system. The other endocrine disruptors I mentioned earlier already, the pollution aspect that we have. One of the things that you can do is really support your detoxification of your body, support your lymphatic system, support your liver, support your kidneys with natural remedies, natural detoxification processes and procedures. Again, you can always find nutritionists that are specializing in these things. And these are very valuable contributing factors on the physical body. One of the things, for example, that really helps the liver to stay healthy is to eat supplements that are green, very green ones. Anything that is green, like here we have marungai or moringa leaves that are deemed to be some of the superfoods, or you can have spirulina. Again, it is something that you need to find out that it comes from good sources and good tested products. You have to be careful also in the supplement market. There is a lot of supplements out there that are not tested, that are not clean. So for everything that we do, we have to be taking responsibility for ourselves to discriminate and discern what we buy, how we eat it, and how we ingest it. Even with supplements, do not overdo it, because they only can do so much. They are contributing factors. They do help to a certain extent. It depends also how intense your side effects are from menopause. If you have only minimal side effects, then your supplements do not really need to be also very high. If you have a lot of side effects, then maybe you have to take more for a certain period of time, and then you diminish it down again. At the end of the day, the more natural we can eat and let food be our medicine, the better it is. So the balance between healthy exercises, intelligent good exercises, healthy eating, natural organic sources of food, mainly vegetarian based, and a variety of things. A good guideline is 80% vegetables. The other 20% can be proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. And if you eat carbohydrates, then stay to the complex carbohydrates And I would highly, highly suggest to really stay away from all the processed flours and breads and these kind of things. They cause high inflammation. They have no nutritional value. And another one that I have come to learn to know, and I've tested that also myself, is the type of oil that you are cooking with. So any seed oils, sunflower seed, canola oils, soy seed, whatever seed oils that are on the market, I would highly suggest that you eliminate those out of your cooking. And definitely all fried foods are not healthy for us. You might know that already. And you can use olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, extra virgin coconut oil, and avocado oil. At this current time, with research supporting this, these are the healthiest oils that you can find. And another factor that I would point out, and then I will move on and back into the energy medicine side of things, is that with respect of eating habits, it has also proven that intermittent fasting is a good practice to do. Now, intermittent fasting means that you have a certain window of non-eating and a certain window of eating. And the whole procedure of intermittent fasting is not our theme today, so I will not go into the details of it. But what you aim for the menopausal issues is that you have an intermittent fasting window of about 18 hours, and then 6 hours is your window to eat healthy food that we just discussed, okay? But for you to really understand intermittent fasting, again, I highly suggest you talk to a professional nutritionist that can properly advise you how to do intermittent fasting, because if you don't do it in the right way, it can cause more harm than good. Okay? But intermittent fasting has proven to be very, very supportive in the physical body. Now, how do we increase vitality? How do we rebalance the hormones? How do we make sure that our emotions stay balanced, that our mind stays clear? In our methods of the World Institute for Incurable Diseases and our Be Well Science modality that we use for healing, there are certain breathing techniques and energy techniques that we use that would allow you to improve and increase your stamina at a sustainable level. So once you've covered your basics, you've covered right eating, all your exercises, we still need to make sure that we reboot and refuel our system. So energy, the chi, the life force energy, like you have the chi in Tai Chi, Qigong, right? You've heard those words, Qi, Chi, energy. They all mean the same thing. We have a prenatal chi and a postnatal chi. The prenatal chi is the chi that allows us to create life. So in order to be pregnant and create life, the prenatal chi. The postnatal chi is the chi, the energy volume that we've been given to live life until we die. And this postnatal chi, we sometimes use up faster than we should. And also, we do not learn in this life how do we refill the tanks. It's like driving a car. If you drive a car in its most economic balance, then your fuel consumption of that car is minimal. But if you put that car in super high gear and up the mountain and you put it in high revs, then your fuel will drop down fast. And your car will eventually stop if you do not stop at the gas station and refill the car, right? And so our physical body or our energy system also has a refueling station. And that refueling station is the belly button in our navel. So when we talk about energy and revitalization and keeping high vitality, the navel is one of the center points that would allow you to really regain energy and assimilate and flow energy through your whole system. And when you have high vitality will allow you to, I would say, diminish the symptoms and side effects of menopause to a great extent. When you have high vitality, you have more willpower, you have more energy to do things, you have more capacity to not be limited or inhibited, or I would say emotionally imbalanced when things don't go well. When we have high vitality, we have higher capacity to withstand the pressures of time, the pressures of menopause. And the side effects of menopause definitely will be less when we know and how we increase our vitality. The other factor is to increase vitality by proper breathing. A lot of people in this day and age, we are always living in this high pressure time. We always have stress. We always have so many things to do. We always exert energy to so many different aspects, to our family, to our work, to our environment, to so many activities. We have so many activities every day in our lives, and we do not breathe properly anymore. The stress factor allows a lot of people are breathing a lot in their chest instead of having a proper expansion and contraction in the belly here. And so when you're very highly stressed, that contributes to hormonal imbalance. It affects your adrenals and it affects your hypothalamus. So to know how to de-stress, to know how to flow your energy is very, very important in order to diminish your menopausal side effects. So why do we know that? Because when you are in menopause, not only is the estrogen and the progesterone that go down, but also the DHEA hormone that is produced in the adrenals, that is one of the precursors to help the reproductive system to function well. That hormone already starts diminishing in our late 20s and 30s. It's a natural process that is not very often talked about, but is a contributing factor as to how intense the menopausal symptoms would come out. So the adrenals is one of the contributing factors that causes hot flushes, that causes anxieties, emotional discrepancies while we are in menopause. And so when you're highly stressed, the stress hormone is high, cortisol is high, right? I had seen that someone had asked about cortisol levels in menopause. These are the reasons why cortisol is going high. Another reason why cortisol is going high during menopause is when you have weight gain. The weight gain in menopause is usually called the visceral fats in medicine. And these visceral fats are the unhealthy fats. We also have healthy fats. We do need healthy fats in the body. But the unhealthy fats, the visceral fats that congest the liver and that are usually behind here in the stomach wall, but that also can interface. And if somebody is obese, these fats really can interpenetrate all organs and throughout the body. These visceral fats are producer of cortisol. And cortisol is, of course, the inflammatory agent in the body. So when the inflammation goes up because of high cortisol, then that is the breeding ground of a lot of other diseases that eventually develop. And so when women then go into the age after 60, very often we would find that at that time, other diseases start appearing. And in this day and age, and I'm also specializing in healing cancer, I really noticed that women after 60, a lot of women now are developing reproductive cancer and breast cancer. And the third one that is very high is colon cancer or digestive cancers. And the reason for that is because of the precursing high inflammation in the body. So we need to look into your capacity to manage stress in your everyday life through proper breathing, and then to regenerate the energy and revitalize yourself so that you have enough energy, high vitality, and bring your inflammation down. The energy medicine means that would allow the body to be in a more alkaline state, not too high acidity, and that would then allow for you to maintain your health, even in high age. The one factor that is also a contributing factor that is not in medicine or in vitality is the karma, the karmic issues. What do we mean by that? The karma is the contributing factor that we develop diseases or certain imbalances in our lives, in this case triggered by menopausal hormonal changes, is that the cause and the effect of the symptoms that we have. Now, what is a cause of things? What would be a karmic contributing factor if your menopause issues would be very extreme? One of them would be wrong lifestyle. If you have been eating junk food your whole life and you've been drinking alcohol and you are smoking, or you have so much stress, you did not manage your emotions well, and you are in your nature a more emotional person, and you did not learn coping mechanisms and techniques, those accumulate and they have already congested your system. So by the time you reach menopause, your menopausal side effects will show up higher and stronger than if someone who would have lived already a very healthy life. And then the other contributing factors are your lineage, where you come from. If you come out of a lineage where women naturally have already suffered a lot of hormonal imbalances, there is a chance that you yourself will also have a higher propensity to develop menopausal issues that can be really limiting and inhibiting. So there are certain breathing techniques that would allow you to release out these toxicities, the stresses, the high cholesterol, and then we can focus on certain points in our body that would allow the rebalancing of the hormonal system. Now, the boss of the hormonal system is the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is the one that is responsible for the production of all the different hormones, especially estrogen and progesterone, and the supporting hormones that are working behind estrogen and progesterone. So the pituitary gland is one of the glands that we focus on when we do healing to continue maintaining it in a balanced state, to allow the body to go through the changes of menopause without suffering the side effects. There is the hypothalamic, so the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, and your adrenals. They form I would say, a circulation of hormonal processes that is very much affected in menopause. And when you, with energy, balance that triangulation, you will diminish a lot of the hot flushes and emotional issues, sleep issues, and all these kind of things. So in our energy medicine, we have understood that the physical symptoms that we experience are directly related to the energy anatomy, which we are experts in. So we need to go to energy, because in energy, we understand, we can measure, we can scan how well are our energy system balanced. There are different energy centers. For example, on top here is an energy center that also affects the pineal gland, which, as you know, is the producer of melatonin. And melatonin production is part of creating your sleep-wake cycles, which can be interrupted in menopause. So when you stimulate, when you know how to stimulate this energy center here, you will bring more balance to the pineal gland, which will allow you to sleep better. There's an energy center here, that works directly to your pituitary gland. So when you bring positive energy to the pituitary gland, it will allow, as I told you, this is the boss of your endocrine system. This will allow your endocrine system to balance out more. And the other one is here, the thymus gland. Indirectly, the thymus gland needs to be balanced as well, because the inflammation in the body is, of course, the reaction of your immune system to all the changes that happen in your hormones, where the immune system goes into an imbalanced stage and sends out too many cytokines and agents, and that causes inflammation. So when we regulate this center with this center and this center and the navel center, this is already a formidable formula that would allow you to balance your vitality, your emotions, your mind, and even your spiritual connection. That would allow you to diminish the hot flushes and diminish aches, pains, and inflammation in the body. It would allow you to sleep better. It will allow you to release out the side effects of stresses. The breathing techniques would allow you also to detoxify partially the body. Now, in our system, we also do have breathing techniques and then physical exercises that allows to increase circulation and allows the absorption of new energy and then the excretion of toxicity. So at this junction, without further ado, and before I talk further, I would like to share some of these techniques with you so that you really can walk away today with some tools that will help you to immediately help yourself with your menopausal issues. Okay, so in order to do that, I would like you to just sit on your chair with your feet flat on the floor. And you can just put your hands on your lap. And what is important here is that you inhale through the nose and you exhale through your mouth. And when you inhale through the nose, you inhale a little bit more versus your exhale so that you really have a good rejuvenating factor. And then after that, I will ask you to focus here at this point, the center of the chest. Then we will breathe again. Then we will focus on the mid-brow point to regulate the pituitary. And then we will breathe again. And then we will focus here on top of the head. All right? So just follow me. Let's do breathing. And as we breathe, on the inhale, you will bring your chin up and you will bring your chin down on the exhale. And the advantage for that also is the up and down movement allows massage here to your throat chakra. So for those of you who have thyroid imbalances, especially hypothyroidism, it will allow the activation of your thyroids here, which allows somewhat an increase in your metabolism. So that is important for your weight management. Okay, are you ready? Let's start. Inhale up. Exhale down through the mouth. Chin up. Chin down. Last. Now allow yourself to relax. You may close your eyes and focus on the center of the chest, your heart center. Normal breathing, relax your body. Let's repeat the breathing again through your nose. Inhale, chin up, through your mouth. Exhale, chin down. Last. And again, relax. You may close your eyes. This time, bring your focus here between the eyebrows. Focus at this point in between the eyebrows. This will allow the stimulation of your pituitary gland and your capacity to think clearer. And let's do another set. Again, inhale. Last. And this time, focus on top of your head, your crown center. Continue to relax, breathe gently. Okay, open your eyes. How are you now? For those of you who have your cameras off, you're very welcome to switch on your cameras so we can also have interactive conversations. How do you feel now? Do you feel calmer but clearer? Anyone who wishes to share something, you can open your mic or you can just share something in the chat. So this is a technique that would allow you to really rebalance your hormonal systems. It would allow you here, the center of the chest, to also open up more your heart for having a balanced emotional consciousness. This allows more inner peace, inner joy, inner harmony. So for those of you who are suffering anxiety, when you activate more the heart center, it will diminish your anxiety or other negative emotions you might experience. And when you focus here on the mid-brow, It will enhance your capacity to think and to think clearer. So for those of you who have brain fog, or if you become more forgetful, then this will help you to stimulate again your brain functions, but also to stimulate the pituitary gland for the overall hormonal health. And on top here, it will allow you to have a higher connection to your soul, recreating a sense of purpose in your life, and allowing also to sleep better, because it affects the pineal gland and the melatonin output becomes more regulated. So the synchronized breathing is a breathing techniques that allows you to release out stress very fast, rebalance your emotions, clearing your mind, and find a deeper soul connection. So whenever you go through your daily life and you have high stress, if you are not sleeping well, and before you go to bed, you do this technique, you will find that after a while, your sleep becomes really deep and high quality sleep again. So I highly recommend this as a technique to help you with your menopausal balance. Now, the other technique that I'd mentioned earlier is the focus on your navel, where your belly button is. Now, for some of the women in menopausal and especially postmenopausal, you would experience really a loss of libido and a loss of energy, a loss of vitality and stamina. Now, this energy center here, if this energy center is strong, if it is full of energy and if it is flowing, it has multiple functions to support a lot of our body systems. So first of all, it is the energy source to feed into our reproductive system or to feed into our sexual energy. So if you want to increase sexual stamina and energy, this is one of the techniques that we have, not the only one, but the one that is safe to show you today that would allow your increase in your libido again. The next one that this does is this energy center is vitally important for your digestion. So for those of you who suffer digestive issues through menopause, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, this is one of the techniques that can help you to improve your digestion and also nutrition absorption. One of the things that I've learned that some women in menopause also develop a diminishing of capacity of nutrition absorption. And the side effect of that is, in my experience with my healing clients, that some can actually develop anemia. And this is not because of bleeding. So some women that have bleeding issues in menopause that bleed very, very heavy, they would also develop anemia, but the cause for that is obviously bleeding. And if any of you have this very severe issues, I would highly suggest and invite you to take advantage of free discovery calls that we offer today. You can contact Beatriz and her team, and we give free discovery calls so that we actually can scan you and see the root cause of excessive bleeding and pains that come with it. And we can suggest you very specific healing to remove these severe side effects. So we cannot address these today here, but this is something which we very well can help you with and heal. But in more the general aspect of rejuvenating and regenerating your vitality, the digestive issues here, the increase of nutrition absorption to avoid any anemia or vitality loss because of your digestive issues. The third aspect of this one, which is very, very important, is that when this energy center has good energy and is strong, it also supports your heart and cardiovascular health. Now, it is also one of the side effects in menopause that women would develop more cardiovascular issues. Partially, it is also because I would say, the flexibility of the skin and of the tissues diminishes in menopause because of the diminishing of the estrogen and progesterone. And it also causes a hardening of the arteries because of that. And because of the hardening of the arteries, you can get high blood pressure. High blood pressure affects, of course, the physical heart. Or if you do not have enough energy here, and your heart energy center and the physical heart behind it does not get fed enough energy, it can actually cause heart issues. And these can be various heart issues. You can have arrhythmia, you can have angina, you can have muscle weakening of your heart, you can have tachycardia. So there's many aspects that can affect your heart health. So the navel is vitally important for health. The next factor of the navel is it is a high contributing factor to support the brain and your brain functions. I'm sure many of you have heard of the brain-gut connection. And how does that work? I had mentioned in the beginning that we have something called the vagus nerve. So our parasympathetic and autonomic nervous system are highly connected to the digestive functions, highly connected to our endocrine functions. And these are two of the systems that need to be really taken care of in menopause. I have found that with respect of the medical remedies that are given in this day and age, they do not really take care of those much. So one of the things is that you need to have a healthy gut biome. You need to make sure that you have positive gut bacteria so that the brain functions, the nervous system functions can function well. In the newest research, it has been shown that an imbalance in your guts will cause an imbalance in your brain. It will affect the capacity to think clear, and it will affect a lot of other neuropathic balances that our body needs to have. So even neuropathy, aches and pains can occur because the digestive tract is not healthy. So even on that level, for any supplements, if you sometimes take some probiotics and prebiotics in form of supplements or in form of fermented foods, that is also a good contributing health factor that you can add to your diet. But we can also do it by energy. And this is, of course, our specialization. And the last factor that I would like to point out for the navel energy that is important is longevity. If the energy here is strong, you actually can prolong your life because this is the postnatal G. So if for whatever reason throughout your life you have burned your candles on both ends and you have used up more energy than you should have, then at least this technique would allow you to recover part of that energy. And if you do this on a regular basis, you will find that you can actually age backwards. So are you interested to do it? Do you like to learn it? Okay, let's do it. So find your belly button, where your belly button is, and take your right hand, the right that is opposite of the left, and bring that one below your belly button. Okay? And then take the other hand, which is the left, and lay it on top of the right. So the right below towards the floor, the left up towards the ceiling, and just on top of each other, and then join your thumbs together to form a circle, and then rest the circle just on the body. So the belly button is now here in the center. And your spine is straight, your feet are flat on the floor. And relax the body, relax your shoulders, relax your whole body. Breathe gently and focus on the navel. Focus on the belly button as if you are breathing in and out through it. And just do your best to keep your focus there. Gentle awareness, gentle breathing. Allow yourself to be. Just experience the energy of your navel. And open your eyes. So this is a breathing techniques that has all these benefits that I've mentioned. Plus, it is also centering. So again, if you do have emotional imbalances, then this is one of the breathing techniques that you also can use to center yourself back. This is the center in you, the Zen. So for those of you who are a little bit familiar with Zen meditation, this is a Zen meditation. Now, if you're not used to meditating or if you're not used to have a one-pointed focus, do not worry. Meditation also needs to be learned. So if your mind wanders and it is difficult for you to keep focus at first, I encourage you to just practice every day. You just keep on telling your mind, go back there, go back there. It's best not to resist your thoughts, just let them be there as if they are just a background noise, and keep on focusing until you have learned to just be in this center. Okay, so at this stage, I would like to open up the floor for some Q&As and also maybe some feedback that we have gotten from the techniques that you would like to share.
Thank you, Moni. We have a lot of questions for you besides
Okay.
what you shared in they share already in the forums, but some of them really want to know what kind of exams should they do to check out how is their menopause, and also what happens if your doctor doesn't recognize symptoms, that some didn't have a good advice with doctors at certain times. And there are more, but maybe those two are big ones.
They are big ones. Okay. Yeah, these are very important questions. I think the tests that are available at the current time from the medical perspective is hormonal tests. So you would have to investigate with your gynecologist or with the endocrinologist. So those are the two major experts that can help you with respect of medical tests. And there are very specific hormonal tests where they can test out the level of estrogen and progesterone in your system. It's pretty much like you would have, tests that you get when you fall pregnant. They are very particular hormonal tests to see whether you're pregnant. For menopausal tests, they do have specific tests that the gynecologist can do with you. They are blood tests or your endocrinologist. So either one of those. Different countries have different healthcare systems. So sometimes you also can just maybe consult your primary healthcare practitioner, so that one can refer you to the specialist, either gynecologist or endocrinologist, and they should be really able to help you. And the test that you need to be looking for is a test that measures your estrogen and progesterone levels. So that's what you're looking for. Okay. And otherwise, if the medical profession cannot help you, or sometimes I have also come across that, women look for tests and the gynecologist will say, don't worry, you are not yet there. They don't want to even give you the test. Then maybe you can consider to consult us. We can scan your system. As Beatriz mentioned in the beginning, we have been trained. We have a certain scanning systems where we can measure your energy, and we can x-ray your body to see the levels of hormones, to see the health status of your organs, and even the health status of your ovaries and the egg balance that you still might have. So those are all indicators with respect of your menopause progression that you're in. A good indicator, of course, also is your age. If you are in and around 40, I think I find that at the current time that we live, that women very often become already pre-menopause at the age of 40. And as I said earlier, the 45 to 55 is the bracket that is recognized, that women can go into menopause and be finished with menopause. But there is really no rule and regulation to it, because there are so many variables with respect of these hormonal changes, internal and external factor, that you really need to have an individual approach. It is different for every woman. Yes, there are the common side effects. If you have hot flushes, if you have change in your period, if you have sleep issues, digestive issues, all these are very sure indicators for your menopause in action or in the go, right? So those are very typical indicators that are there, but then not every woman gets it. So, so it's really not something that you can say, if I have a flu, I have a congested nose. We know that, right? But in menopause, it's not like that. You can have all of the symptoms. You can have 50% of the symptoms that have been identified. You can have a symptom that is so unique to only you that no one else has. One of the issues also that I found in menopause is skin issues. A lot of women get a lot of skin issues. And the collagen drop, the elasticity of the skin, of the tissues goes away. And so one of the things that you can do for that is, again, there are supplements that you can take. Vitamin C, zinc, magnesium. Magnesium is also very good for those of you who tend to get cramps with menopause. It helps to alleviate cramps, and it also helps with sleep. There has been evidence for that. Vitamin C, as we know, is an agent, very high antioxidant. And anything that is high antioxidant is really healthy to have as a supplement. And one of the more physical approaches that has proven to be helpful for collagen and skin issues is radiotherapy. When you go to your beautician, they apply heat, and that stimulates the collagen production. So even if you're already postmenopause, you can do that. It will improve the quality of your skin. It will reduce your wrinkles a little bit, and overall also stimulate to have a better tone of your body. So those are therapies that are helpful. I would highly suggest that you do consider to investigate energy medicine as one of your major health management for menopause, because in our system, we would help you on a physical level, vitality, emotions, mind, and spiritual. And then we also would take into consideration the 5 key areas of life to evaluate how well balanced your life is. Very often also when we reach the age of 50 or 60 and we maybe change careers at that time, or we consider retirement, or if we are not working, the changes also happen in our families. The children grow up, they have their own life. And so very often we also have the empty nest syndrome on top of menopause. So the ecosystem environmental factors also play a big role as to how intensely you experience menopausal symptoms. Anything that we experience as a discomfort in life, the way how we cope with it makes a big difference. So if you have a balanced life, if you have a sense of purpose, if you have capacity to be joyful, if you have capacity to increase vitality and have high vitality, a lot of the menopausal issues will not bother you that much because you have the capacity to manage them well. So the key factor in menopause is to find tools, techniques that will help you to reach emotional balance, high vitality, and a sense of purpose. Make sure that your life is balanced between your financial life, your family life, your health management, your social engagement, your social contribution, and your spiritual development. If you have balance in those areas, you will feel very balanced also internal. So the internal and external factors need to be taken into consideration. Think of health as an investment on many layers and facets, not only physical, not only medical, but it needs to be a collaboration of many things that creates homeostasis, that creates harmony, and that creates meaningfulness. A meaningful, harmonious, useful life will allow you to go through challenges of life, whether it's menopause or any other challenges, in a good, aligned, and balanced way. You cannot always take away all the aches and pains in life. That's impossible. But if you know how to manage them well, if you know how to prevent them, if you can work ahead of time to create health, to create a good life, you can always heal every aspect of your life.
Thank you, Moni. There is just a little question. I think you have answered many of the questions, maybe with telepathy and also reading. I know in the chat you were checking them. And
Yeah.
specific question about after hysterectomy, Alexandra says, at age 39, I went through menopause early. Now I am 43 and I cannot lose weight no matter what I do. Yeah. So
Very good question. Thank you for that. Yeah, hysterectomy is really an artificially induced menopause. And so the things that we've talked about with respect of the changes that are happening in the body would still be the same. On top of that, if you have hysterectomy, there is an injury to your body. It depends also, is your hysterectomy through surgery? So did you have a cut? Or was it an extraction through endoscopy extraction? So there would be a difference on that. But very often what happens is that in hysterectomy, there is an injury to the reproductive system and there is a leakage of energy. Very often they puncture the navel, or if they cut here, they puncture this energy center here. So you have a loss of energy and interruption of your meridians wherever the cuts or the punctures were that needs to be healed. And the factor that you have gained weight is an indicator that your hormones are imbalanced. I would suspect that your thyroids are affected, because if you have depletion of energy through hysterectomy, it affects the throat here, the energy center here, which affects the thyroids. So the thyroids can be going into hypothyroidism, which is not always necessarily measurable in the medical tests that they have. Sometimes you need to measure the energy. If it's scans depleted, then that indicates that your metabolic rate has diminished, which means your mitochondria inside your cell do not absorb and process energy enough. And that causes weight gain. And so the insulin resistance in this case in the body also would go up. It does not necessarily mean that you have diabetes, but that is something that they call insulin resistance, which is an interrupted metabolic rate in the body that causes weight gain. And there are certain methods that one can do to rebalance that aspect. And again, one of them is to understand the right way of exercising, to understand the right way of eating, and to have help with energy medicine to regulate your overall hormonal endocrine system. And then also what I mentioned earlier, the brain-gut connection needs to be taken care of, needs to be energized again and revitalized in order for you to be able to lose weight. May I have a picture of Alexa who asked that question? Would you mind, are you there to switch on your camera? I can't see her. Can you see her? Okay. I think maybe she signed off. But anyways, I would have scanned her to see what is really the issue, but I would need to see her picture for that. But I hope that answers the question. Okay. Any
She's in
other
the chat
questions?
though. In her picture is there, Moni.
The picture is there? Ah, there, Alexandra Alvarez.
Yes.
Is that the lady? Okay, I see it now. All right. Is that an actual picture as she is today?
Alexandra, estás ahí mientras Moni te escanea.
Yeah, when I scan your system, just a very quick scan, this one is, there's definitely a lot of depletion of energy, and the throat, sex axis and connection, the meridians are blocked, and the sex meridians are blocked. There's a lot of congested energy in and around this area. And then depletion here, and also depletion in the navel. So those are indicators also that your system needs to really have rebalance. If you improve the quality and the function of those energy centers, it will improve the thyroid, and we need to activate more here. This one is also a little bit weak. We need to activate the pituitary and then activate the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve scan's also weak. And if we do that, I think we can help you with respect of weight management.
Thank you, Moni. I will venture to talk on behalf of certain women that talk to me about their libido, and just mention quickly, if you can say something, why some get lower and some get actually hotter, and what can they do?
Maybe the ones get hotter have a young boyfriend, and the ones that drop the libido must get a new boyfriend. Maybe it depends on the husband, who knows? And yeah, so that's a very good question. For those women that have an increase in libido or experience that, what really happens is that because of the hormonal imbalances and the nature of the energy centers alignment, for some women, the fire energy gets congested. And so instead of a good balance of circulation of energy, there are meridians. They run here, for example, from the eye via the thyroids over the nipples, through the adrenals, and then to the ovaries. So for some women, this is really congested. Sex chakra is congested. And then here, those centers, your lower emotional centers, get very congested. So which means that the sexual energy cannot move, and that causes an imbalance and a spike of energy. Some of you naturally also have more libido. Like I said, you know, you have this prenatal chi and postnatal chi. So some of you have higher capacity of postnatal chi. Some of you are also born with more fire naturally. So it is your predisposed composition that allows you to, you know, have a good time, even you in menopause. But some of you who have diminished libido, the aspect there is really the loss of energy, the loss of fire, and the diminishing of the estrogen progesterone that usually would, you know, allow the stimulating hormones also to be produced to have the sense or the desire to have sexual energy or to have sexual pleasure. And the other factor is also the nervous system. Again, it goes together with the pituitary gland and the pineal gland and the hypothalamus adrenal pituitary triangulation. The frontal lobe, your frontal lobe part of your brain, which is the pain and pleasure part, also plays a part in having a sense of sexual pleasure and stimulating the capacity of sexual pleasure, especially in menopause. So there is a diminishing of energy here, or a change in the autonomic and parasympathetic nervous system that needs to be stimulated again. Plus the diminishing of the fire, the diminishing and depletion of energy here in this energy center, as I mentioned earlier, would cause those women that have loss of libido those symptoms. So as I said, not everyone is made in the same capacity. Some personality types, they are more the creative types, they are more the sexual types. You are naturally made more with fire. That's your good luck in this life. So you enjoy your sexual pleasures even in menopause. But for those of you who have libido loss, when you do navel breathing, I already showed you a technique today that will already help you to improve the energy. The circulation of energy is very important. The level of vitality is important, and the rebalancing of the hormonal factors. By the way, even though the estrogen progesterone go down, it doesn't mean that the body does not anymore produce those forms of hormones. There is still a certain different type of estrogen that is still being produced by the liver and by the adrenals. And so that is also why having a very healthy lifestyle is very important. So really take care of your liver and really take care of your adrenals. That is one of the key factors as well to maintain all the good healthy components of our physical body as women after menopause.
Well, Moni, we'll keep you here for hours, of course, but I know your time is limited. I
Yeah.
just want to mention that we have very nice comments about the techniques that you use. Some say they feel more relaxed, they feel calmer, more energized, centered. Also, we have a comment coming from Nicole saying, "Thank you, Moni, for the insights and useful information and techniques. I have experienced firsthand the improved quality of all levels of health through my menopause experience with the help of visual science through WIT." And I'm sure with you too.
Thank you so much, Nicole, for sharing your experience. I really appreciate that. Are there any other questions?
From the group chat, I think you have covered most of it, but I don't know if somebody wants to take the mic or something. Just the tiniest thing, we can take it, I guess.
Okay. So I would say that with respect of your needs, with help for menopausal issues, please do reach out to Beatriz and her team. We can help you immediately. We can heal you. We can give you tools and techniques, even downloadable from online. We have many different events that you can also take part in that will teach you and show you how you can improve your life immediately. The techniques that I've shown you today, I hope you take them home with you, take them at heart, practice them. They will immediately bring you relief, better sleep, better balance, and higher vitality. And we do give the free discovery course. So please do not hesitate to reach out so that we can scan you and we can advise you properly how you can manage menopause beyond medicine in a really sustainable way that will improve your life in every aspect of your life, and that will bring you longevity and meaning in your life. Living a life with high purpose, high health, high vitality, and great contribution. This is what we will help you with.
Thank you so much, Moni, for taking the time for all this international group, your experience and your wisdom, and the wholeness of what you have shared has filled up many gaps that many of us had, also from the medical onto our life perspective. And I'm sure that with this support that we can have, not only with you, you have our team and we have each other, women, And men, we have to support each other through these life changes so we can really make the best of us and also the best for our families. So I just want to thank you again. I hope we can share this recording to people that couldn't be here, but we have a good group internationally, and please keep us helping us, Moni, and teaching us. In the future, we want to see you more for maybe a second part of this one.
And I just want to say I did a menopause heal plan, and it was immensely helpful. So anyone that's thinking about it, it's well worth it. So.
Thank you, Mary. So thank you, Beatriz, again for the opportunity to share our wisdom and our techniques to the world. And to all of you who have come here today, thank you for being here. Please share what you have learned with others. Share hope and let other women know that there is help, that there is a lot of things that we still need to learn and that we need to help and support each other. And I do always encourage also, please bring also the men along, because men need to be educated as well. If husbands need to be the ones supporting their wives, if fathers need to be the ones supporting their daughters, or if brothers need to be the ones supporting their sisters. So please invite the men along just as well, so that there can be a deeper understanding for all of us that life is a moving target. Life is not only about medicine and symptoms, but life goes beyond what we sometimes perceive in our everyday life. Life is beautiful if we share. Life is beautiful if we have purpose. And we can all create a life that brings light, empowerment, enlightenment, and usefulness. So please share it to all women, to all men that can benefit. And let's assure that women that are in menopause or that have women's issues can continue sharing wisdom, sharing their greatness and their love to all of humanity and to the world. With that, again, thank you, and I wish you all the best.